Good morning, class. Welcome back to our science lecture. As we had started with Inside the Atom, let us continue the same chapter. Last lecture, we had learned about Bohr's atomic model, where Bohr had told that there are four shells present: K, L, M, and N. Each shell is given the number and the name. The first shell is numbered as K, second shell is numbered as L, third shell is numbered as M, and fourth shell is numbered as N. Now today let us learn in detail how much electrons would be present in each cell. So electronic configuration of each cell, how many electrons would be present in each cell, is given by the formula 2n square. N is the number of the shell or the shell number. Like K is the first shell, so N is equal to 1. So by putting it into the formula, K shell will have 2 electrons. L is the second shell, so N is equal to 2. So we put 2 in the formula and we get the answer as 8. So our L shell has 8 electrons. M is the third shell, so N is equal to 3. So the total electrons is 18. And N is the fourth shell, so the total number of electrons are 32. So N is having 32 electrons. This is the maximum capacity of these shells. First shell will have 2 electrons, second shell will have 8 electrons, third shell will have 18 electrons, fourth shell has maximum capacity of 32 electrons. Did we understood that? Now what is atomic mass and what is atomic number? Atomic mass is denoted by symbol A. Atomic mass is the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. And atomic number is denoted by symbol Z. It is the number of protons, only the number of protons. So when you write a symbol, X is the name of the element. Whichever element you are writing, atomic number of that element will be written below and atomic mass number would be written above. Like, see the example given here. Helium is the example given here, where helium's atomic number is 2 while atomic mass number is 4. Atomic number is the number of protons while atomic mass number is the number of protons plus number of neutrons. Okay, understood everyone? Now let us check how to write or how to find out the electronic configuration of each elements. Okay. Now here I have started with the first element, that is hydrogen. Hydrogen has atomic number 1. So the electrons present in hydrogen is 1. While helium has atomic number 2. So the maximum capacity of K shell is 2. So helium is also having only 1 shell, that is with 2 electrons. Now let us see lithium. Lithium is having atomic number 3. That means in lithium, K shell will have 2 electrons and the 1 electron which remains goes to the L shell. So it will have 2 shell, 2, 1, because the maximum capacity of K shell is 2. So third electrons goes to the next shell. Now let us see a bigger number, carbon. Carbon has atomic number 6. So now K shell will have 2 electrons. 6 minus 2 is 4. So 4 electrons go into the L shell. So electronic configuration of carbon is 2, 4. Sodium, atomic number is 11. So 2, 8, 1. Because K shell will have 2 electrons. L shell will have 8 electrons, while M shell will have only 1 electron. The remaining 1 electron because L shell can have maximum 8. So one electron goes to the M shell. So the electronic configuration of sodium is 2, 8, 1. Now let us say calcium. Calcium's atomic number is 20. So K shell will have 2 electrons, L shell will have 8 electrons, M shell will have 8 electrons. Still 2 is left, so 2 goes into the N shell. The N shell is having 2 electrons. Now the question arises, M shell is having the maximum capacity of 18 electrons. So why did not we write as 2, 8, 10? Because the we see the octet of an element. Once it completes 8, then we don't write electrons in it, because if we write more than 8, it becomes unstable. So we take only octet. Octet means 8 electrons. Only the first shell will have 2 electrons. Other all shells should have 8 electrons completed. Are we clear with this? How to write the electronic configuration of the elements? Okay, let us go back to valency. Now what is valency? Valency means the valence electrons is the number of electrons in the last orbit, but valency is the combining capacity of the element. Combining capacity means how many electrons the atom can donate or accept during a chemical reaction. That is the valency. Now inert gases are such elements which have complete shells. Their octet is complete. That means they have 8 electrons completed. So they are valence atoms. So they do not take part in any chemical reaction because they are stable. They are complete. Like I've given the example here. Helium is having 2 electrons, which is stable. Neon is having 10. So 2, 8. Again stable. Argon is having 18. 2, 8, 8. Again stable. There is no place for other electrons to enter. So they do not take part in any chemical reaction because they are complete octet. Like this. This is how you draw the diagram for electronic configuration. Like He, that is helium, is having 2 electrons. So it is in the first shell. Neon is having 2, 8. First shell is having 2 electrons. Second shell is having 8 electrons. So as I said you, combining capacity. Your valency is known as the combining capacity. How much it accepts or how much it donates. So now let us see an example when NaCl is formed. Sodium chloride. Here 2 atoms are there. Sodium and chloride. So sodium is having atomic number 11. So its electronic configuration is 2, 8, 1. While chlorine is having atomic number 17. So its electronic configuration is 2, 8, 7. That means sodium has 11 protons and 11 electrons, while chlorine has 17 protons and 17 electrons. That means if sodium has to become stable, it needs 7 more electrons in its outermost shell to become stable. And if chlorine has to become stable, it needs to have 1 electron in its outermost shell. So what they do is they give and take electrons here. Now for sodium to take up 7 electron is difficult. It will require more energy. While it will be easy for sodium to give up 1 electron. So sodium gives up 1 electron because it will require less energy. While chlorine to give up 7 electrons will be difficult because it will require more energy. While for chlorine to take up 1 electron would be easy. So chlorine takes one electron. So sodium gives one electron to chlorine and chlorine accepts that electron. Are we clear with this? So after the exchange, sodium will have 10 electrons and 11 protons because one electron he has donated to chlorine, while chlorine will have 18 electrons and 17 protons because chlorine has accepted one electron. Now because the positive charge is more in case of sodium, and how much more? 1 more. 11 proton and 10 electron. Protons are positively charged. So one positive charge is more. So sodium gets a positive 1 charge, while chlorine has electrons more and protons less. How many electrons more? 1 electron more. Electrons are negatively charged. So chlorine gets a minus 1 charge. So the valency of sodium is plus 1, while the valency of chlorine is minus 1. So because sodium gives electron, it gets plus 1 charge, while chlorine accepts 1 electron, it gets a minus 1 charge. Now after giving, sodium is stable with 2,8, octet is complete, and chlorine is 2,8,8, again octet is complete. So now they become stable and they form NaCl. So valency is the combining capacity, how much an electron will give or take in a chemical reaction, that is valency. I hope everyone is clear with this. This is a rough diagram. Here you can see sodium is having 2,8,1. So one last shell is having only 1 electron, which is unstable, while chlorine is having 2,8,7. Chlorine has a place for that 1 electron. So sodium gives this 1 electron to chlorine. So now sodium becomes 2,8 with a plus charge, and chlorine becomes 2,8,8 with a minus 1 charge. Are we clear with this? So the valency of sodium is plus 1, while valency of chlorine is minus 1. That is valency. The last part of the chapter that you have is nuclear reactors. Nuclear reactors, it is a machine which generates electricity on a large scale. By using what? Atomic energy. By using atoms. Now this entire chapter we learned about atoms, how atoms are there. So by using atomic energy, how to generate electricity on a larger scale, nuclear reactors are used. Okay. In nuclear reactors, the nuclear energy released by the atoms are used to help nuclear fuel. So let us understand what happens here. In here uranium-235 is bombarded in a slow speed. Okay, bombarded means hitting. It is bombarded with a slow speed of neutrons, 2 neutrons. So when it is bombarded with neutrons, it releases 2 atoms, krypton-92 and barium-141. Along with krypton-92 and barium-141, it also releases 2 to 3 neutrons. So on decreasing the speed of neutrons, the atomic fission of uranium atoms goes on taking place. So first 1 uranium atoms give rise to 2 products, that 2 will give rise to 4 products, the 4 will give rise to 8 products, 8 will give rise to 16 products, and in this way atomic energy is increased, and this large amount of atomic or nuclear energy released during this reaction is used to convert it into electricity. But it is very important to keep this energy under control. So to keep it under control and to decrease the speed, 2 things are used: moderator and controller. Moderator Graphite or a heavy water is used to reduce the speed, and controller is used to reduce the number of neutrons produced after rods of barium, cadmium, beryllium are used as a controller. And the heat that is produced in the nuclear fission process is taken out by using water. Water is used as a cooler here, and the heat is controlled using water here. So uranium looks like that, uranium 235, something looks like that in a, this is a real picture. So when uranium is bombarded with 2 or 3 neutrons, it gave rise to barium 144 and krypton 89 along with 3 neutrons. Now this 3 neutrons again is bombarded into 2 uranium atoms. It can again split, so a chain of reaction is formed, as you can see on the screen. The chain of reaction give rise to large number of nuclear energy, and that nuclear energy is used to convert it into electricity or electrical energy, and that is how electricity is produced on a larger scale in a nuclear reactors. In India, these are the operational nuclear plants which are present in Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. These are some of the nuclear power plants present in India at present. India is famous for thorium. Thorium is mostly present in India. Now scientists are making many measures to bombard thorium and do the nuclear reactive process instead of using uranium. So this was chapter number 5, Inside the Atom. This is a part of your Science 1 syllabus. So chapter number 5 comes in Science 1. I will be sharing you the notes with you in the group. So do complete it, and after completion submit it to me, send it to me after you complete your notebook. Thank you very much.